It might have been in County Down, in Old New York, in Cape Henry, or even London town. No more will I go all around the world, for I have found my world in you. Very good. Seems to be on a roll here, so let's go on to page 5. We'll roll out that beer barrel. Upper left-hand corner. Beer barrel polka. Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel. We got the blues on the run. Zing, boom, ta-ra, bring out a song of cheer. Now it's a tall barrel for the gang's all here. Okay, page 9. Upper right-hand corner, page 9. It's been 9 towards Easter. Walt reminded us, 3 weeks away. Okay, Warren. Easter parade.
Warren.
Okay, here we go. In your Easter bonnet, with all the frills upon it, you'll be the grand lady in the Easter parade. I'll be over, and then look you over. I'll be the proudest fellow in the Easter parade. I'll have you, lift that blue, a photographer will step aside yourself in the little viewer. Oh, I could write a sonnet about your Easter bonnet and all the girls to the Easter parade. Little Friday. Okay, page 2, Amazing Grace, verse 1 and verse 4. Page 2, verse 1 and verse 4. Amazing Grace. I'm waiting for Warren to find page 2, just before page 3.
No, before page 1, after that, like that.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that brought this good to me, and His word my hopes secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Thank you.
Thank you, Jared.
Now the part of the meeting we've all been waiting for.
Yep.
You got your red ticket.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Okay.
No more singing today. You don't have to worry. Go ahead. Oh, not that one. Okay, red tickets. Jerry, if you're still interested, I can sell you one.
Yeah.
3 for $2. Or 1 for $1. 3 for 2. Okay.
Yeah, I need all the money I can get.
He tells us he's going to win. He's very confident. We know it's going to be Gene. Gene wins.
You know, soon, just never pickpocket him.
Yeah, you got to teach me that art.
Let's see if I get it.
Wait, maybe I
Yeah, let me have you.
3 for $2. Yeah, I
did have change, but I gave it away. Thank you. Thank you. Want to leave anybody out? Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, I got to put this ticket in there. I'll sit down. Okay, Paul. Draw away. Woo.
Yeah, there you go, make them move.
Okay,
Move.
he mixed
Call
them
my
up.
number.
Are you ready?
Yes.
How long is my number?
661. 632. 661.
All right. Oh, wow. Boy.
Thank you. All right.
Here we go. See?
Jerry to Jerry.
What did you do about it, Paul?
Hey, how are you? Are you pretty good at investing too? Wow. What? Not kind of wood.
Okay, I'd like to have Treasurer John Miller come up and introduce our speakers.
Aren't you glad you came this morning?
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, our speaker today is Donna Deedy, and as you're looking up her resume,
Can I hear you?
I don't know quite where to begin. It's quite extensive.
John,
Nobody?
you can speak louder.
Oh, okay.
Our PA system has died.
Okay.
Okay, well, Donna is the Chief Executive Officer and President of the School of Holy Childhood, a nonprofit agency that serves children and adults with developmental disabilities. Prior to that, she served as President and CEO of Bishop Kearney High School. And before that, she worked in television journalism and I forgot the name of the station.
Channel 10.
And she's also Senior Vice President of the United Way of Rochester. And she's the Chairman of the Family First Federal Credit Union Board of Directors. And it goes on and on. And she's a graduate of Bishop Kearney High School. And they got a bachelor's degree from John Fisher College. She was an MBA from Pittman School of Business. Busy lady. I find I try to condense what you've done. Go down and on. So my pleasure is to introduce you our speaker, Donna Deedy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to stand over here so you can hear me. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. And I have Vanna White in the corner who's going to advance my slides. I'll signal from time to time. Excellent. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you. How many of you've heard of Holy Childhood, right? So, and have you visited? Have you ever been to the school or anything? No?
Don, do me a favor. Use the mic, would you please?
The mic
It's not
isn't
working.
There's
working
no
here.
mic.
It's not working.
No mic.
Oh, okay.
But I'll speak up, okay?
Oh, okay, well, okay.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
All right. So I've been at Holy Childhood for about 5 years, and this is an organization that has been present in our community for almost 70 years. And I've found that it has an incredible brand identity, that people have heard of the name, they kind of understand what we do, but not the breadth of what we do. And so I'm here to talk about that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the challenges that have emerged for organizations like ours in New York State, and what we're doing about it, because it's pretty exciting about how we're reacting. So Vanna, please advance the slide. There's a whole succession in a second that are kind of quick, but I'll leave you around. So this may be the logo or the representation of Holy Childhood that many of you are familiar with from its long history. So the logo, when I came to Holy Childhood, was a little old school, right? It was very focused on children, and it represented only children. And we decided to go through a whole rebranding of Holy Childhood because we wanted the community to understand that we not only serve children with intellectual and developmental disabilities, we also serve adults right on through retirement age. So we went through a rebranding, and we thought, how are we going to do this? What symbols can we use? And ironically, one of our staff shot this picture of one of our young students at a press radio club event where he received an award for an accomplishment. He was so excited that he leapt in the air. We thought, this captures the happiness, it captures the essence and the spirit of what Holy Childhood is in the community. So we called that the Jake, because his name is Jacob, and we just said that movement was therefore going to be called the Jake. So this is Jacob from the front, and he willingly reenacted his leap in the air. And so we thought this is going to be a great symbol for us to use. So, one more. Here's how our graphic artist started to represent the Jake. Go ahead. And we turned that into this symbol, a representation that had the H for Holy Childhood and the C. We thought graphic artists are far more clever than I could ever hope to be. Go ahead. And that's how we incorporated it into our new logo. And then finally, Holy Childhood, we put a tagline on it, inspiring lifelong success, because we wanted to make sure that everybody understood that it is a lifelong continuum of service that we're providing to people with disabilities. And so that's how we're branding ourselves today. So people have known us as being a school. They understand the spirit of what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that we're preparing people with disabilities for that success throughout their lives in various ways. Let me tell you a little bit about the school. Go ahead. Oh, wait, one more thing. You know us for our pies as well, right? How many of you have had a Special Touch Bakery pie? Not enough of you. Okay? But that's one of our work programs, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. We actually sell 17,000 pies a year that are baked by our adults in our bake shop every year, and they're the best pies you've ever had. So, and here's one of them. This is Lisa. She's one of our adults in our adult program, and she's very, very good at turning out that crust every day. So, okay. We have a number of adults who work in the bakery. There are about 20 of them, and they take incredible pride in the work that they do. So, the school. One more slide. Remember, you may have heard about Holy Childhood and its origins nearly 70 years ago. It was founded by a group of Sisters of St. Joseph who recognized that there were some children in the school systems who were falling through the cracks. Mental retardation, other intellectual and developmental delay. And so they said, you know what, we're going to start a school. And they actually started 2 classrooms practically around the corner from here, in the school building that was behind the fire hall on Andrew Street, where the Engine 1 and the Protectives are around the corner. And so we've had a long-standing friendship with firefighters in the 3 locations that we've been now. So it's the Rochester Fire Department, the Gates Fire Department, because they moved to the Diocese of Rochester complex on Buffalo Road for a while and expanded. Now we're located in Henrietta, and the Henrietta firefighters have joined in. Every Christmas, in the slide you just saw, the firefighters come and celebrate with our students and our adults and throw one great Christmas party for everybody. All the kids, all the adults get a gift, and it's a wonderful sense of community that the firefighters have brought to us. Okay. So here's a little data about who we are. So the school program, we serve 116 students between the ages of 5 and 21. In special education, New York State Education mandates that schools, both public and private, like ours, must educate a student for up until they're 21 versus 18 in regular education. So that's why they're 5 to 21. We're accredited by the New York State Education Department. We are partially publicly funded, but a private organization. So we do receive public tuition, which doesn't quite cover the cost to educate. Sounds like New York State, right? But that's how we're governed on the school side. And would you believe that of those 116 students, they come from 39 different school districts every day because their districts may not have a program that is appropriate for those students. And so they send them to Holy Childhood for our education program, for our clinical services, and the like. In the adult side of things, when students graduate from Holy Childhood or from another school district at the age of 21, if they are in special education, they have historically been able to come into our adult work and vocational training programs, which are comprised of 3 workshops. So the bakery, the Special Touch Bakery, Partners with Industry, which is a fulfillment operation, which we do all kinds of packaging, sorting, all kinds of things, labeling that businesses send us contracts to do their work for them, and it provides employment opportunities for the people working in our shops. So we have day habilitation, community habilitation, pre-vocational training, a wide array of employment services now, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then we offer clinical services. So we have occupational therapy, physical therapy, psychological services, speech therapy, and a couple of other things in our clinic. Okay. So one of the things that is impacting us very greatly today is the so-called transformation agenda that New York State, led by Governor Cuomo, is instituting in the field that serves people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. You see, this Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, or OPWDD, is the organization in the state which governs us. It's our regulatory body and provides all the rules that we have to follow. It is also the funding mechanism for our adult program in particular, which is largely Medicaid funded for the services that we're providing. And there is a big movement in New York State to reduce Medicaid expenditures across the board and move things into a different way of funding. So the state is telling us, okay, Holy Childhood and Arc of Monroe and Lifetime Assistance and CDS Monarch, which have had work programs on site for all these years, you have to change how you are delivering service to the people that you're serving. It has to be more community-based. They think we're too segregated. They don't like the fact that we have groups of, say 70 people, all with disabilities, working together in the same room, doing the same work. They would like it to see it be more community-based so that everybody has an opportunity to be part of our community. And so there is, of course, nothing sounds wrong about that, right? But there are limitations or a lack of desire or ability or safety for particular people who are very low functioning to be out in the community independently. So we're really trying to balance both things. So, go ahead. So, as I say, the aim of the state, they want everybody to be fully integrated with non-disabled peers in the community. They want to answer people's desires about where they might like to be receiving service or working. And they are turning it into a managed care scenario versus us receiving fees for the services that we're providing. They're turning the funding into managed care, which, I don't know how you feel about it, but that never seems to be a good thing. So, okay. So, it's changing the way we deliver services. We have new funding streams, and the translation there is that it's less per person. It's impacting every stage of people's lives with disabilities. And the most frustrating part about it for organizations like ours is that the state will deliver mandates and say, you have to do it like this, but they never quite give you all the parameters about how you can go forth and do it along the way. So you're forced to reinvent yourself without knowing what all the rules are, which is a little bit frustrating because you're always concerned if you go off in one direction, the state will turn around and be punitive and turn the Attorney General or the Medicaid Inspector General on you and say, well, you're not doing that right, and now you've got to pay us back. So it's frustrating. Okay. So we are embracing these changes, however, because we recognize that we should provide high-quality services, especially in the community-based employment arena, for the people we're serving. We're trying to figure out how to do that in ways that keep people safe, that maintain the spirit and culture of what everyone has come to know and love as Holy Childhood. 100% of our people tell us we still want to be part of Holy Childhood. But the state is saying Holy Childhood can't exist exactly the way it's existed all these years. So we have to embrace it and make some changes. And so they're telling us by 2020, we have to, and Arc of Monroe and LAI and the other agencies that have sheltered workshops, we have to close those workshops down as we know them today. So they can't exist on our campus with groups of people doing the work all together right there.
No more pies?
But wait, I will tell you what we're going to do. And that's exactly it. Why would we want to throw away that wonderful enterprise that people have grown to love and be in a situation where we're not allowing the people who are working in those shops to do that work that is fulfilling to them? So we want to try to create the best of all worlds, which is forcing us to think very differently. So at any rate, we have to submit a plan. They ended admissions to sheltered workshops last July. The only way we can take in new people with disabilities into our program is to assign them to community-based pre-vocational experiences. And here's an example of how that's working now. So in our Partners with Industry shop, for instance, we will take in contracts from companies like Paychex. And they'll say, we have this, these pallets of 401k kits, binders, that we need your folks to assemble. And that's meaningful work. So they'll sit in our shop and they'll do the work. Now, we are taking our people in service to Paychex, and they're doing the work over at Paychex's John Street location, and that's called community-based pre-voc. Because people are integrated, they eat lunch in the Paychex cafeteria. They like that cafeteria better than ours, by the way. But they're interacting with chronological peers in the community at a community-based work site. So we're trying to adapt and provide meaningful yet safe opportunities in the community as much as we can. The other component to this is that they also want us to work to place people with disabilities in competitive employment in the community. So now we have to expand our offerings to provide job coaches. We have to help people go out and get the job. We have to work with them to keep the job. And, it's much more difficult to provide the service in that way than it is when you bring the work to people and they're working together. So it's a big adaptation. So we have to submit a plan to the state by January of 2017 that tells them what Holy Childhood's brand new integrated business model looks like. So now we, as a nonprofit human service organization, have to start thinking very differently. Because if you think about it, our bakery, for instance, we produce 17,000 pies a year, hardly enough to break even. In fact, when you factor in all of our ingredient costs, because we're probably not purchasing at the cheapest level for raw ingredients, our productivity is very low per person. So we have people who are probably operating at a 10, 20, 30% productivity level. They're very good at particular tasks, but if you want to turn out more pies and become very profitable, it's a little difficult to do that in the setup that we have going at our bakery, which is, by the way, a transformed school kitchen from 25 years ago. So, it's not ideal to become a highly productive operation. And we also are focusing on employment for our students, the children 14 to 21, because now we recognize we've got to train them and get them ready from activities of daily living, how to dress, how to wash your clothes, brush your teeth, comb your hair, show up on time, do a resume. Peters Life Center, which is part of Heritage Christian Services. It's in Henrietta, right off of East Henrietta Road by 390. Peters Life Center.
Are any of the churches involved in health in any way?
The churches? No, not really. Holy Childhood used to be affiliated with the Catholic Church. It is non-denominational now because we're receiving government funding, and we kept it separate. But no, the churches are not necessarily involved, except for maybe on a volunteer basis here and there.
How about Duffy? How about Duffy?
Duffy?
Yeah.
I have
Same.
spoken with him about the situation. Thank you. And he, he's aware of it. There's not a whole lot he can do. And frankly, the only thing he might do is leverage his personal connection with the governor and have a conversation. But we have not as yet asked him to do that.
So the CMA won't help you either because you
No.
need funds.
No, we're not affiliated.
Or United Way.
We receive United Way funding for our summer program in the school. About $120,000 a year that goes to help offset the expense of that. And the reason that falls in is because we're focused on reducing summer learning loss in literacy and math, especially for our population. And so the extended learning really helps, and that's a big focus of United Way.
As far as individual donation, it's only one monthly donation. How would you go about that?
Well, there are a few ways to do it. I mean, you can call and speak to me or our development director. There's also a way to do it online as well. So if you go to holychildhood.org, and you'll see donate, and then there's a whole wide range of opportunities.
Donna, in helping people as you're doing, I'm sure you, in the time, the 5 years you've been working at this thing, you see it's been a personal thing from youngsters and people who make you feel good about what you've been doing. You can actually see some results to make the contact through. What can you give one or two examples just to wrap up here?
Yeah, I mean, every day, those students and the adults give me a whole lot of perspective about what is possible. When I first started at Holy Childhood, my mom wasn't really familiar with everything that happens there, or even the type of disability or anything like that. She said to me, Donna, aren't you going to be sad working there? Isn't it going to be a little bit of a downer? So I invited her to come, and she took a tour. And she got the full treatment from all of our people who are amazing and wonderful. And as she was leaving, she said to me, well, if you can't be happy here, I don't know where you're going to be happy. Because it's very joyful. You just see people's accomplishments. And I think sometimes we sell people short who have disabilities and put them in a box and say, well, they're disabled, they can't. They can, and they do, and they're very productive. And it's our job to give them the tools they need to succeed. And how they define success might be very different from how we define success, but it's pretty uplifting to see what people can accomplish. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the bakery. My wife and I always liked that. Will that stay open till at least the end of the year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We are not doing away with that.
Yeah.
No,
I haven't been there in a long time. I was wondering where that was located.
It's right in our school on Groton Parkway in Henrietta.
Is it where the church is? The
No.
Catholic Church?
No, it's 100 Groton Parkway in Henrietta, which kind of runs between East Henrietta Road and Pinnacle. It's a neighborhood school. It used to be one of the Henrietta elementary schools. Gillette. Mhm,
Right.
Yeah. And we took it over in the mid-'80s.
So it's near where East Henrietta hits Pinnacle?
It's where, I'm trying to think, if you're coming on Pinnacle, it's off of Hollybrook. If you're coming from East Henrietta Road, it's not far from Suburban Plaza.
Oh,
And
okay.
you'll see a sign into
Hollybrook
Hollybrook
Road
Road.
also runs on East Henrietta Road.
Yeah, and you'll see a sign for School of the Holy Childhood.
Oh, okay.
Just go around.
So if you're going
Just go
south
around
from
the-
Suburban Plaza, then you're headed the right way?
not south. It's the other way.
East.
East. Right? I'm terrible with directions.
I'm gonna say a prayer for you.
Thank you.
With
Thank
all
you, Donna.
I
your
appreciate that.
problems, I thought I had problems at my job. I realized I had a erection.
Thank you all very
Thank you,
much. It
Donna.
was very fun. Absolutely. Oh, thank you very
Oh,
much.
we do that at the beginning.
That's fine. Thank you so much. Very glad to be here. TLF Graphics, Phoenix Graphics.
Since I've been back, I've been so busy with stuff. I had a pile of, I told you, I had a pile of labor mail.
Okay.
It's so thick there. I had a mailbox. I still go. Last time I went to see my tax man, I still got to give him more stuff today. So I'm going crazy with
Maybe
stuff.
our guys in
Anyway,
the shop.
I'll keep in contact with him.
Sometimes we do a lot of
A couple of things I just mentioned with Mary Grant. Definitely, I'm going to call her today.
Try to get that.
And leave a message how she can come. I'll give her no time. She's never done anything like this before, so I'm going to I'll have to coach her along a little bit. But I know she'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I had a nice chat with her too.
It's nice to have somebody.
Thanks again for the information.
Sure.